Now, these are his immediate words. The way that I would like to present the narrative of this story, I just want to let you know that there are different mufassirun who try to fill in the same gap that I'm going to try to fill. And the gap they try to fill is, what kind of person is this man? This guy who just spoke, the husband, what kind of person is he? And they're trying to paint what you can call a psychological profile of this person. So some people painted the picture that this wasn't much of a man. He was probably, asexual, or he didn't have any attraction to his wife, and he wasn't even like bothered by the possessiveness. Any man would go insane if he heard something like that, either in rage towards the man who did it, or wife did it, that his entire rage and frustration and this hellish experience would be directed towards the woman. Right? So that it would be an extreme reaction. This is not a calm situation. But the fact that he has a calm response, and we'll see that this is a calm response, means that he is not, he's just not, maybe this is why some extrapolated from it that he may not be very intimate with his wife, he may not be fulfilling her needs, etc., or he wasn't very possessive, or he wasn't really much of a man, he was a weakling, etc. And so they've painted that kind of picture. Another picture that's been painted is he was so gracious and so kind that when he brought Yusuf alayhi salam, he said honor his housing, and now he's dealing with the situation in a graceful kind of way, and he's saying, he's kind of being forgiving on both sides and things like that. So there's this kind of sort of nice guy type picture that's being painted. Again, this interpretation of his profile is not sacred. This is our scholarship trying to fill in the gaps of what kind of person is he, so they can understand where his words are coming from. Like, what's the point? Why is he making these comments? My reading of this is rather different, and I find a lot of validation after having talked to Sheikh Suhaib. I actually was completely convinced of this position already anyway, but I presented that to him, and that's what I'm going to present to you. For the alternative views, for those of you that can read the Arabic language, Imam al-Alusi's tafsir is very thorough in the kind of profile that's painted. I believe Imam Razi has quite a few things to say about this too. Now, let me tell you something. The thing seems to be that above all else, this is a calculated politician. This person is a calculated politician, and he thinks of the long term. And the moment he saw Yusuf alayhi salam for purchase, you can already see he's not thinking of the short term, he's thinking of long term, captured inside even the word mathwa. Captured also inside asa an yanfa'ana aw nattakhidahu walada. Maybe he could benefit us, or we could even take him up as a son. He's not thinking of right now, he's thinking of the future, yeah? So he has, and politicians become politicians because they don't react like everybody else in the moment. They think about the next election cycle, they think about the future, they think about like 10 years in advance, 20 years in advance. Maybe somebody's a governor now and they've got the plan to run for the presidency in 10, 15 years. They're not thinking about that right now, and if somebody else, of course not. But they've got the wheels turning slowly, yeah? So first thing that becomes very clear is he is a politician. Second thing that becomes clear from his response is he's actually not so bothered by what happened with his wife. He's actually not so bothered. And why not? So let's fill in these blanks now. You see, the question is, he says, it is from the scheming of you women. It is from the scheming of you women. What is it? Some people said it is the shirt. The shirt is from the scheming of you women. But that doesn't make so much sense, because she didn't scheme to rip the shirt. That's actually the opposite of what happened, yeah? Then it could be that her crying and her dramatic scenery, that's could be the scheming of you women. Or it could be that the entire evil act, like you trying to cheat on your husband and doing all of that, that's the scheming of you women. My personal reading of this, that Sheikh Suhaib and I find the most convincing, is that this is actually referring to the dramatic performance she just did to get Yusuf in trouble.